Welcome back to A Little Privacy Please. I'm Julie Rubash, General Counsel and Chief Privacy Officer at SourcePoint by Dodomi. This is my weekly series covering what matters most in data privacy, and this week we're staying at the state level with two significant developments in the Northeast. Connecticut has signed a major package of privacy amendments into law, and Vermont is on the verge of becoming the 24th state with a comprehensive privacy framework. Both introduce provisions that go beyond what we've seen in most other states. Let's start in Connecticut. The governor has signed SB 4, with some provisions taking effect as early as October 1st of this year and others rolling in through 2028. Two additional bills, HB 5222 and HB 5563, have cleared both chambers and are awaiting the governor's signature. Assuming all three are signed, this is one of the more substantive privacy overhauls we've seen from any state in recent years. A few things stand out. First, Connecticut is tightening its purpose limitation standard. Previously, the law required a 5-factor compatibility analysis when companies wanted to use collected data for a material new purpose. The amendments remove the word material, meaning any new use, not just a significant one, now triggers that analysis. Second, Connecticut is joining a small group of states banning the outright sale of precise geolocation data, with no consent exception. Oregon got there first last fall. Virginia's ban takes effect July 1st. Connecticut's follows October 1st. Maryland has taken a similar approach through its broader ban on selling any sensitive data. What these laws share is the premise that consent doesn't fix everything. Some data simply can't be sold. Third, the amendments add specific protections for direct-to-consumer genetic testing, including a consumer privacy right in biological samples and separate consent requirements for third-party sharing and research use. There are also some new requirements for large subscription-based generative AI platforms and operational requirements for companies using facial recognition technology under the law's security exemption. Fourth, Connecticut is creating a data broker registration requirement modeled on California's Delete Act. The registration system opens this October, and data brokers must be registered before January 1st, 2027. A centralized consumer deletion mechanism follows later, with brokers required to access it starting in 2028. So, what should companies be doing now? Determine whether you qualify as a data broker under Connecticut's definition. It differs from California. If you do, the registration system opens this October, and you'll need to be registered before January 1st, 2027, when operating without registration becomes a legal violation. Revisit your purpose limitation practices because the removal of material means the analysis now applies more broadly than it did before. And if you're selling precise geolocation data, assess whether that practice must stop entirely. And if your business touches genetic testing, facial recognition, or subscription-based AI, sector-specific controls are now on the table. Now for Vermont. Vermont's legislature has passed S71, which is heading to the governor. If signed, Vermont becomes the 24th state with a comprehensive privacy law, and the 4th this year alone. It takes effect January 1st, 2028. Vermont borrows heavily from other states, most notably Connecticut, but its applicability provision really sets it apart. Vermont has 3 independent triggers, any one of which is sufficient. You're covered if you process data on 35,000 or more consumers annually, process sensitive data on 3,000 or more consumers, or offer the personal data of 3,000 or more consumers for sale. And separately, Vermont imposes specific obligations on any company processing data that is or could be used for healthcare decisions, regardless of how many consumers are involved. So even if you've excluded your company from most other comprehensive privacy laws, you may need to take a closer look at Vermont, especially if you're using data for healthcare decisions. Both of these developments reflect a broader theme we track in this series. State laws keep evolving, and newer laws aren't just adding states to the map. They're introducing targeted provisions that require careful review, not just an extension of an existing program. That's all for this week. More in the newsletter, A Little Privacy Please. I'm Julie Rubash. Now go enjoy a little privacy, please.